The three-page executive, emphasis on executive resume CV. Why shorter is a mistake. Let's get something out of the way very fast. If you are a senior executive using a one page resume, you are underselling yourself. I'll be brutal. You are committing career suicide. If you are using a two-page resume CV because that's what everybody says, you are still probably underselling yourself. If someone told you that 3 pages is too long, outdated, or indulgent, they don't understand executive hiring today as things have changed. This is not about padding. This is not about ego. This is about positioning you, your credibility, reducing risk, and decision making psychology. I'm Martin Buckland, a global executive career management practitioner. This is episode number 253 of Tuesdays at 2. It's live, so I encourage you to ask questions live. Comment in the window, and I will respond at the conclusion of this Tuesdays at 2. Doesn't have to be related to today's topic. The question can be anything related to career management. So today, I'm going to break down exactly why a three-page executive resume CV is not a luxury, but a necessity today at the senior executive level. Yes, I know some people will be uncomfortable with that. Good. Why the one-page rule exists and why it breaks breaks at the executive level. The one-page rule was created for students up to a maximum of 6 years work experience and is still used by students up to 6 years of work experience. Early career professionals. It was designed to filter, not persuade. A one-page resume CV for a senior executive is guaranteed to fail a very specific applicant tracking system, otherwise known as ATS, if you have a one-pager. Guaranteed. Executives are hired through confidence, their credibility, their track record, their performance, and a trust transfer. That cannot be portrayed in a one-page resume CV. You are letting yourself down if you are an executive and you have a one-page resume or CV. Don't do it. So boards, CEOs, investors, recruiters, and succession planners are not looking, can this person do the job? They are asking, have they done this before? At what scale? Under what pressure? With what results? Can they do it again at my company? You simply cannot answer those questions, those probing questions properly in a one page without oversimplifying reality. Executives don't get hired for potential. They get hired for proof, performance, professionalism, and metrics. What recruiters and hiring authorities actually read today. Let me tell you something most candidates misunderstand. Recruiters do not scan executive resumes the same way as they do junior ones. They look for a pattern of recognition. They look for performance. They look for progression. They look for decision, size. So number of direct reports, indirect reports. They look for your CapEx budget, your OpEx budget, and your P&L ownership. They look for your risk exposure. They look for scale, growth, recovery, and complexity. They don't decide always in 10 seconds. They may shortlist quickly, but the final hiring decision goes through a rigorous process, multiple phases which vary from corporation to corporation, vary between the public and the private sectors. This phase and process can take 2 to 4 weeks, sometimes more. Your resume, your CV becomes a reference document, a performance document, not just a screening tool. A one-page resume can trigger interest. It cannot sustain confidence. That is the difference. So the real purpose of a page 1, 2, and 3. Let's break this down in a 3-page resume. So page 1, positioning and authority. This page answers one brutal question. Why should I take this person seriously in the next 15 seconds? You have to wow that reader. Page 1 is your contacts, your cell phone, your email, your customized LinkedIn address, and finally a 10-digit Zoom address. It should include your directive, the specific title of the job you are applying for, or generic if you are sending to an executive recruiter to get on their database. It should portray your executive value proposition, your leadership scope, your top 3 accomplishments with as many metrics as you can, either your currency value or percentiles. It should contain your personal brand in 15, 17, or 19 words as a statement, not individual words. It should contain business functional skill level industry specific buzzwords or keywords that are specific to you. These are your business functional skill level specific buzzwords. So when you're writing your resume, think about this. If I was looking for my own CV or resume in my computer, what business functional skill level specific buzzwords, keywords, business functional buzzwords would I type in to have your resume, your CV come out of my ATS? It should also include top 3 accomplishments with as many metrics as possible. The first page has not to only be ATS compliant, but it must wow the human recruiter, the human reader, and have a credibility anchor. This is not where job duties live. This is where executive weight, your performance live. If page 1 is weak, the rest is irrelevant. So page 2, you need to continue that proof of performance. Performance. This page answers, have they actually delivered at scale? This is where you qualify those achievements. They based on the acronym STAR: situation, task, action, result. The growth, the turnarounds, the restructures, the exits, the expansions. The list goes on and on and on. The major stakeholder wins, the strategic inflection points, the market complexity. So this is your track record under pressure. No padding, no BS, no corporate baloney, just viable and strong outcomes. So what we should have on page 3, this is the depth, this is the risk profile and the career narrative continuing on. I just want to stop here. You can really ask me a question, any question you want in this, because we're live. Please put them in the comments below and I will answer them at the end of this presentation. So page 3 is the page where most people try to eliminate. This is also the page that shows continued star stories, shows resilience, shows consistency, shows decision patterns, shows leadership evolution, shows how you handle different environments. Executives aren't hired to repeat yesterday. They are hired to navigate through to tomorrow. Page 3 gives the context and reinforces those accomplishments beginning on page 1 and all of page 2. The context creates confidence. The bottom of page 3 is your education, your certifications, your presentations, membership and affiliations, patents, whatever you want to call it, and community involvement. So the dangerous lie to too long. 3 pages is too long is not a universal truth. It's a misapplied junior hiring rule. What's actually too long is rambling content, and I see that a lot, unfocused messaging, task-heavy descriptions. By that, I mean responsibilities. We're not interested in your responsibilities anymore. That went out on a resume or on a CV many, many years ago. Zero metrics, no metrics. I see sales resumes. Now, what are salespeople going to be measured for, going to be hired for? How much money can they make? I see sales resumes with zero metrics. That is unbelievable. No wonder they can't find a job. You all have metrics. Everybody listening to today's Tuesdays at 2 has metrics. Do a lot of brainstorming. Think about it. So the next one is no strategic narrative and business keywords. So length is not the problem. Irrelevance is. A tight, well-structured executive 3-page resume. It reads cleaner for an executive leader with over 15 years work experience and reads more than 1-page resumes, and also goes through that vital ATS. It creates faster confidence, uplifts the impact, the wow factor. You have to wow the reader at the other end. It reduces perceived hiring risk. Hiring the wrong professional or executive leader can be expensive mistakes. The resume's CV's job is not to be short. Its job is to lower the perceived risk and entice a buy. That means buying you. Everybody listening today, buying you. You are a product. And when you send your resume, your CV out, you are enticing a buy. And that product is wanting to be bought for a lot of money. So why does shorter actually make you look smaller? Here's the uncomfortable truth. When senior leaders squeeze 25 years of leadership into 1 or 2 pages, they unintentionally signal smaller scope, limited complexity, less transformation, less authority. Don't do that. You may think you are being concise. What you are actually doing is compressing your credibility. Meanwhile, you're setting yourself up for failure with the very specific ATS scanning application. You don't win executive roles by being modest. You win them by being clear, credible, and confidence without arrogance. Don't embellish. Don't tell lies. A 3-page resume CV doesn't make you look senior. Your content does. But the space allows that content to breathe. 3 pages is perfect. So when is 3 pages not appropriate? So let's be precise here. 3 pages is not for the entry level or junior management or early career pivots or unproven leadership tracks. It's for the senior executive with 15 years or more experience. So work experience is very important. Performance. So it's for senior managers, directors, vice presidents, all of the C-suite. You wouldn't have got to the C-suite if you didn't perform. It's also for entrepreneurs at scale. It's also generally for investors showing all their investments, and succession level leaders. If you carry strategic, financial, and people risk, your resume, your CV must reflect that. The executive resume CV is a business case, not a biography. Your resume, your CV is not your life story. It's a commercial, performance-driven sales document, a leadership real risk assessment tool, a credibility transfer mechanism. Short does not mean strong. Long means indulgent, relevant, structured, and provides proof of wins. If you are serious executive competing into today's brutal market, a correctly format, performance-driven 3-page resume or CV is what you do. It's your career defense document. Yes, be prepared to defend everything you say, you articulate in that 3-page important CV or resume. Hopefully you've learned something today. I've managed to convert you from maybe thinking 1 page. It's scary that a lot of business schools think that 1 page is perfect. It's not, and it will fail that scanning machinery, that ATS. And then people come to me and they wonder why. Well, simply just because of the length. I'm Martin Buckland, a global executive resume writer and global executive career management practitioner. If you would like a free, no obligation resume critique, send it to the address below, and I'm more than happy to have a 30-minute free, no obligation, no sales pitch critique with you. Doesn't matter where you live in the world, over Zoom. So send your resume to that address below, and I'll be happy to have a conversation with you over Zoom at a time that's mutually convenient to us, no matter where you are in the world. So, in short, your career is your business. You need to manage it like a business. So for much more on career management, visit my YouTube channel, Martin Buckland. Subscribe and hit the bell button to stay sharp and stay visible. Thanks for listening today. Has anybody got any questions? I'm more than happy to take it. We are live. More than happy to take questions. No, nobody's come up with questions so far, in which case I will call it quits. But thanks for listening today. Hopefully you've got some nuggets on how to write an executive resume.